Okay guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Regieleki. This is a really cool Pokemon, obviously introduced in Generation 8, and he is new to the Regi family, pure electric type, and he is super cool. He's got some really good stats, some that are a little on the lacking side, especially in the defensive department. But let's go ahead and take a look real quick. So defense and special defense are both going to come in at 50. Obviously, this is a pretty low stat, so he's a little more on the squishy side. You definitely don't want him taking a lot of hits, and we are going to talk about it a little later, but Focus Sash is a good item for this guy because of those low stats. HP is 80, so it's not too bad there, but considering his lower defenses, it's not going to really balance it out too much. But where he really shines is going to be his speed. His speed stat is amazing. It is 200. That's going to pretty much outspeed everything. So speed 200, he is super fast. And then when you look at his attack and special attack, they're both 100. So he hits really well too. So he's fast, he hits good, and he's going to really be able to be a nice frontline either debuffer or offensive cannon. So that's what we're really going to be looking at, taking the speed priority and using it offensively. Okay, now Regieleki doesn't have a crazy move pool. Pretty much everything he has is going to be electric type in usage, so at least everything is going to get a stab bonus, but he doesn't have crazy coverage. He gets a few things here and there, like he has bounce and acrobatics, but for the most part, it's electric attacks that he has. However, because of his ability, this isn't terrible. He has the ability Transistor, which is going to boost electric type moves by 50% damage. So he's actually going to be able to pack a crazy amount of damage. So when you combine that with his already high attack and special attack stat of 100, with his speed stat of 200, and the Transistor ability on top of it, something as simple as a Thunderbolt turns really powerful. So this is a great ability for him to have. Okay, let's go ahead and look at a few moves to consider. We have Electro Web, Thunderbolt, Thunder Cage, Eerie Impulse, Reflect, and Protect. Now, Reflect and Protect are going to be more support moves as well as Eerie Impulse. We know what Protect does. We know what Reflect does. If you don't know what Eerie Impulse does, it lowers the special attack by 2 for whatever Pokemon you're using that on. It will activate Lightning Rod if they do have a Pokemon with Lightning Rod, so just be careful of that. If in the selection screen you see that they do have a Raichu or something like that, they might have that in the back to draw the electric out of the Regieleki, obviously buffing themselves, so just keep that in mind. Thunder Cage is amazing, 80 power damage, only 90% accuracy, but if it does hit, you're going to do decent damage, especially with Transistor, but you're also going to trap the enemy Pokemon, and they're going to have a little bit of chip damage going out every turn as well. So pretty cool move, just be careful with it with that lower accuracy. Thunderbolt, amazing, 90 power, 100% accuracy, very consistent move for you. It's going to hit pretty much always unless you get an accuracy down. And Electro Web's awesome because it hits both enemies on the other side of the field in doubles, and it lowers their speed by 1. So with your priority, you're going to really make sure that your second Pokemon on the field is going to go next by lowering your enemy's speed by 1. So really cool. Even though it only has a 55 base power, it is going to get the boost from Transistor, so it'll do okay damage, but you're really setting up your next Pokemon to do whatever he's going to do. In the realm of resistances, Regieleki does have 3 different resistances: Flying, Steel, and Electric. These are all going to be cut in half. It's always nice to have the electric resistance because electric moves are something that you do run into quite a bit, so being able to reduce those by 50% right now, that's pretty decent in and of itself, but then you also have that Flying Steel type also. Alright, Regieleki only has one weakness, and that's going to be the ground typing. Now, ground typing is a fairly common typing as far as move sets and so on that you're going to see. I mean, Therian Landorus alone is one that you're going to have to worry about. So definitely keep that in mind, and that is his weak spot, especially with that super low defense at 50 for both special defense and physical defense. So just keep that in mind, but it is a 1-to-3 ratio for weakness to resistance. So he does have 3 times the amount of resistances that he does weaknesses. If you're finding this video helpful at all or you're liking it, please drop a like and subscribe. Also, guys, feel free to come over and visit us at the Twitch channel anytime you'd like. We do a lot of battles, raids, and trades every day, mostly Pokemon content as well as on Pokemon Go. You'll find the links down below in the description. Other than that, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of this video. Okay, looking at the first set here, obviously he's going to be electric typing, but we're going to do 252 EVs into special attack, 254 into his special defense and 252 into his speed. So we are going to utilize, obviously, his big speed stat, and we are going to buff up his special attack because that's really where his better moveset lies. Now, as far as the moveset, we are going to go with Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Electro Web, and Protect in this moveset. Thunderbolt is going to be your very consistent, heavy-hitting special attack, single target. So that is going to be his main source of DPS here. Volt Switch in case you need to back out. This way you can get some chip damage out while swapping. And then Electro Web is going to be your big debuff here, still doing some good damage, but also lowering that speed attack of your opponents, which is going to give your side of the field priority without even having to use something like a Tailwind. Keep in mind, a Tailwind would still offset this for at least one use, so just keep that in mind as well. And then Protect, you want to play games with Protect. Try to bait and get them to use a heavy attack on your Regieleki, waste a turn while you're attacking with your other Pokemon, etc., etc., etc. Now, as far as ability, item, and nature, of course, he only has the one ability, Transistor, but we're going to go ahead and we are going to use the timid nature on this. We are going to maximize his speed as much as we can. You could go ahead and work on his special attack if you really wanted to with modest, but timid is really where I think we should lie here, maximizing that 200 speed stat, which is crazy. As far as the items, you can do either Focus Sash, Life Orb, or you can even use Magnet. So Focus Sash is really nice, and that's what I use predominantly on this Pokemon in general. But if you are using Focus Sash on something else, or you just want to do more DPS, you could use a Life Orb. And if you have Life Orb on something already, then take the 20% extra damage from Magnet on your electric type moves, since he's only really using electric type moves. So it is still going to boost it by 20%. It's still pretty good. So that could be a good tertiary item for you to use for this Pokemon. Okay, let's go look at the second set. Now, the second set is going to have some differences here in the move set. The statistics, the EVs are going to be the same. 252 to special attack, 252 to speed. That's really where we're going to be focusing on for this guy. But as far as the move set, we still have Thunderbolt on here, but this is where it starts to change a little bit. Instead of what we had on the previous build, you could either do something like Thunder Cage, or you could go with Electro Web again. You could do Eerie Impulse or Reflect. So these are the moves that we're going to kind of look at here. Thunder Cage going to trap. It's going to do chip damage. It's more of a DPS-centric move to put on here that has some residual effect versus the Electro Web, which is going to consistently lower the speed of your opposition. Now, I do like the Electro Web because it's going to lower that speed, especially when we also have things like Eerie Impulse on here. There's a nice special attacker that comes out. You use Eerie Impulse. They're already -2 on their special attack because of the one Eerie Impulse. So you can really hurt the opposing team with a combination of Electro Web, Reflect, and Eerie Impulse. And because of these debuffs that are on here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put on the Focus Sash specifically for this moveset. We want to keep him alive as long as we can so that we can get as many debuffs out on the field as possible, /Reflect, so that we can really buff our team's resistance to the opposing team so that our other Pokemon can really come in and just kill whatever's out on the field. This works really well. Once you've got your Eerie Impulses out, your Reflect set up, the speed's negative, now you can go to work with Thunderbolts if they're ignoring you, and you can do tons of extra damage. So this is actually a really fun set to use, and I use this set a very good amount of the time. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and look at some Pokemon you could pair with your Regieleki. This is actually the second time I'm recording this because the first time I had it on mute, so I'll try to make this brief. But we've got Whimsicott, Incineroar, Landorus, Therian Landorus, Urshifu, which is the dark type Urshifu, Shadow Calyrex, and Venusaur, all in the top 6 for you. You can go to Pikalytics.com to see more information of other pairs that work well with this Pokemon also. But a couple that I use very, very frequently with this Regieleki are the Incineroar, the Landorus, and the Urshifu. Those are probably my top 3. If you do use a Whimsicott, you've got Tailwind to set the speed. I mean, nothing is ever going to outspeed your Regieleki unless they debuff the crap out of your speed or have a Trick Room. So he will be super, super fast, and you can never go wrong with doing a Tailwind anyways. But I haven't been using that as much. But Incineroar, Therian Landorus, those are two that I mean, you cannot go wrong. Incineroar is still basically number 2 to number 3 consistently, even sometimes number 1 as far as usage goes. And Landorus is always in the top 3 as well. So either one of them with Intimidate is amazing. Of course, Therian Landorus is ground typing as well, so he gets great coverage. The Dark type Urshifu is amazing. He has a very good coverage pool of moves that he can choose from. We do have a video launching for him. Probably about the same time this video launches, so definitely check that out if you need some help there. And check out some of the other videos for these Pokemon that we've already launched, like Incineroar and Venusaur, and we will have a Calyrex and Landorus video dropping too. Shadow Calyrex is amazing because it's super fast and it's a total special attack cannon. I mean, it will decimate if it hits, and it's got a great ability, so that is a Pokemon that you should definitely consider. And Venusaur is always a good grass-type threat, so definitely take a look at those Venusaur builds and see if you can fit him on your team. But Regieleki is just such a good Pokemon. He can fit in really well almost on any team composition you have. There's almost no reason not to use him, so definitely consider putting him on your team, and let me know how it goes. You know, let me know what team you made with him and how it's doing. All right, guys, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you liked the video, if it was helpful, drop a like and subscribe. Definitely helps the channel out. Otherwise, I'd love to hear about what kind of builds you're using for Regieleki, what teammates you're pairing it with, and how it's doing for you overall. Feel free to put it down in the comments below, or to message me on Discord, or when we have a live stream on Twitch, so I can see you guys there. Other than that, guys, thank you again so much for hanging out. I hope I see you next time, but until then, take care.